Now, the UN Security Council has adopted a resolution endorsing a ceasefire proposal announced by President Biden. The resolution calls on Hamas to accept the three-phase plan aimed at ending the 8-month war in Gaza. 14 Security Council members supported the proposal, with only Russia abstaining. The resolution urges Israel and Hamas to fully implement the terms of the deal without delay or condition. The proposal includes a permanent end to hostilities, the return of Israeli hostages, and a major multi-year reconstruction plan for Gaza. Let's get more from our Washington correspondent, Benjamin Alvarez Gruber. Welcome, Ben. What will this Security Council vote mean in practical terms?
So this resolution welcomed this three-phase ceasefire plan that President Biden laid out 2 weeks ago. And the resolution also goes into detail about this proposal. It spells out that, and I quote, if the negotiations between Israel and Hamas take longer than 6 weeks for phase one, that's before they come to the next one, the ceasefire will still continue as long as negotiations between both parts continue. There were some amendments to a previous version of this Gaza ceasefire draft resolution. Well, the current draft now categorically says Israel accepted the deal. The previous one only said that the deal was acceptable to Israel. So a slight change there, as we know that for months negotiators from the US, Egypt and Qatar have been trying to mediate a ceasefire, and now, as you said, 14 out of 15 members of the UN Security Council approved it.
Now, President Biden's neck and neck with Donald Trump in the race for the White House. How important is it for President Biden to get this deal done?
For him, it's very important because pro-Palestinian protesters are indeed a very common sight at events that President Biden or Vice President Harris attend. Even though he was not here in Washington, D.C., because he was in Europe and France only last week, and several organizations surrounded the White House with a long red banner. They wore red. They called it the People's Red Line in reference to the red line that President Biden promised for a wider ground offensive by Israel in the southern Gaza city of Rafah, and that, according to the organizers that came from several U.S. cities for the protests here in D.C., is nowhere to be seen. So pressure within the Democratic Party is definitely growing, and that's something that we can also see for the upcoming visit of the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Next month, he will give a speech before a joint meeting of Congress, and there are more progressive Democrats emerging that say that they will not attend in protest.
OK, thanks for that, Ben. Benjamin Alvarez Gruber in Washington.